only go to the gym 3 times a week. I walk. I eat mostly whole foods, but I will have a cheeseburger or a cocktail, God forbid. And I'm in this shape.
Yeah.
And people were like, no way, he's full of shit. Yeah, you have to be in the gym 5 days a week. And I started to realize there was this narrative. People don't get in shape because they think you got to be like a bodybuilder. You got to eat chicken and rice. You got to live in the gym. It's got to be a job. But I love my...
Segovia, back with another video. Hope everyone out there is having a good day, y'all. We got a good one coming up today. Like always, y'all. We got bangers after bangers. You're not finding this content anywhere else on YouTube, y'all. We got a good hour we're going to get into right here. I ain't going to talk too much, y'all. Enough with the chit chat. Let's do what we came here for. Let's get into the video. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
We're here. We can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing.
We can.
Not here.
You have to answer this.
Not here, bro.
People are taking video right now. He was wearing an orange suit with like something on his back.
Spraying alcohol.
Spraying alcohol, but what he did was he made it look like he was here.
He's making Molotov cocktails.
Like, look at the background, y'all. Like, these things happen in these type of states for a reason. There's so much division in Colorado. Like, I noticed a big difference when I moved to Texas from Arizona. Like, in Arizona, there was flags everywhere. There was, you know, the thin blue line, the don't tread on me, the pride flags, the Trump flag, like just so much division, y'all. And like when I moved to Texas, I don't see any of that. I don't see no changing up the American flag and having a blue line, having a green line, having a whatever line. I don't see as much of the pride flags. I don't really see any Trump. Like there's just no division, y'all. I see American flags, and I'm right here on the border. You'd think there would be some Mexico flags like flying everywhere, like there is in Arizona, but you don't see none of that, y'all. But in these type of states like Colorado, like they got a pride flag at a government building right there. You know what I mean? There's just so much division that causes this type of hate to happen, where these people protesting and this guy throwing Molotov cocktails ain't gonna make a difference, y'all. It's not. You think those people over there that are bombing each other and all that, you think they're gonna see this and be like, you know what, we better stop. The people are upset. Like, but they just feed this energy in those type of states, and they fuel off that, y'all. They fuel off that division. And it's sad to see, because Colorado's a beautiful state. Never been there, but it looks beautiful.
And for us,
Well, we can't do it when he's got Molotov cocktails in
if you are fighting, you have to
That's what he's got right here is Molotov cocktails.
right there. They are killers.
We're early in the investigation, but some details have emerged. I'm able to confirm there are 6 victims, ages 67 to 88. All of them have been transported to local hospitals. This attack happened at a regularly scheduled weekly peaceful event. Witnesses are reporting that the subject used a makeshift flamethrower and threw an incendiary device into the crowd. The suspect was heard to yell, "Free Palestine," during the attack. The subject has been identified as Mohammed Sabri Solomon, and he's 45 years old. The FBI is processing the crime scene and the subject vehicle and interviewing key witnesses. We're assisting Boulder Police in providing technical, analytic, and additional forensic resources. As a result of these preliminary facts, it is clear that this is a targeted act of violence, and the FBI is investigating this as an act of terrorism. Sadly, attacks like this are becoming too common across the country. This is an example of how perpetrators of violence continue to threaten communities across our nation. It's our job, the FBI, the Boulder Police, and our law enforcement and community partners, to bring these criminals to justice and keep our communities safe. We're asking for the public's help as we continue to investigate this horrific act of violence. I'll direct anyone that has phone calls, that wants to make phone calls, to 1-800-CALL-FBI. And if you have digital evidence, whether that is video or social media posts or anything that can help the investigators, please send that to fbi.gov/Boulder Attack, BOULDER,
Does anybody actually believe this shit? See, I did a deep dive on this guy right here, okay? Which is Mohammed Solomon, aka the suspect behind the, in quotations, firebomb attack in Colorado. And see, the reason why I put quotations on that, right, is because I just did a deep dive video on him today. It was about 7 minutes long. And you know what happened? The video immediately got deleted. Well, let's put it this way. They say Solomon is an Egyptian national, right? He overstayed his visa, and of course, under his visa terms, he was only authorized to stay in the US until February 2nd of 2023, and he reportedly never left. But see, here's the thing, and I'm trying to think about how to word this so my video doesn't get taken down again. One, there are claims going around that he said free Palestine, right? And see, it's interesting to me that that was the spotlight that everybody wanted to point out. You remember what happened in New York, right? I told everybody that was going to happen because a special little group, and I'm sure you know what that special little group is, started losing its appeal. But see, that's not the first time, okay? Because when you see how many people on other platforms, including primarily TikTok, say those same exact special little words, guess what's going to happen? Well, there's going to be a response. Has anybody noticed how TikTok's been since the in quotations ban? Who do you think is making decisions here? Be realistic with yourself for 1 second. And then think about this, okay? When it comes to Mohammed, think about what I just told you, because obviously I can't say this shit out loud. But what I can tell you to go look into is what happened in London in 1994. Do a little deep dive for me real quick. See, Mohammed, he had family that actually worked in special little agencies. I'm trying to be as discreet as possible with this shit because obviously I don't want another one of my videos to be taken down. Just do me a favor, okay? Look into the AZC, okay? And after you do that, look back into the IRGUN, okay? IRGUN. You're welcome. Because honestly, at this point, if it hasn't become obvious to anybody, then I really don't know what to tell you. I mean, you really need to get the fuck in touch with reality here.
So I'm not okay. So the fact that everyone saw that Denver airport lady basically get on her knees and like beg the cops to listen to her because something about like her daughter being like held hostage or something, but she had to like deliver the message that like that there were going to be like imminent attacks soon, and then everyone seemed to like brush it off, at least in that clip.
Always.
And then today we get the news that there were incidents, seemingly terror-related incidents in both Denver and Boulder, Colorado. I feel like the timing is way too coincidental for it not to be related to that airport lady's warnings, because she was literally in Denver airport when she said that. I mean, like, I'm not like a conspiracy theorist, so I'm not going to say that those two are related inherently, because I don't know. I don't know anything. I just like link those two events in my mind. I don't know though. The time is a little too coincidental for me.
I don't think that was a T attack. That was just somebody that watches too much Fox News versus a group that watches too much MSNBC. Now, what those two groups don't know is y'all got so much in common, just opposite mindsets. But they're the same people, y'all. They're the same people. They got the same type of hatred for each other. And that's what the powers that be want. That's why they get away with all these things. That's why they get away with these prices through the roof. That's why they get away with gas fares, interest rates, taking control of the stock market and doing what they want as they please with us. Because the majority of the people got that hate in their heart for each other, and they're divided, y'all. Right? They're divided.
I'm still debating on whether or not Nikola Tesla actually existed.
I've
Enough
heard
politics.
that theory too. I've heard a lot of people say that because the amount of
Let's have some fun
patents
now.
that he filed in a very short amount of time, it was kind of inhuman.
Yeah, but there are other sort of stranger anomalies to Tesla. For example, he never had sex, so he has no offspring. There are no descendants from him. But he did have siblings. One died. His older brother died when he was younger. It fell off a horse. But I cannot find a single living descendant. And I've reached out. I contacted his museum. They said that they didn't know the whereabouts of any of his descendants. The other thing is that if you look for video footage of him, this is a pioneer of technology who gave public talks and lectures and allegedly wrote for journals and magazines. People would pay him to come to dinner if they were having a dinner party. Everybody wanted him. He was top of the list. But there's no video footage of him, yet there is of his rival Edison, and there also is of Einstein, who once famously said that if you want to know who the most intelligent man in the world is, you need to speak to Nikola Tesla. So you've got someone at really the forefront of technology with no video footage and no living descendants and just a handful of images. We always see the same ones of him over his entire lifespan. So I find that strange. And to do what, as you quite rightly said, achieve what he did in quite a short period of time is unusual.
Do you think that Christian persecution is on the rise?
Oh, I know it is. It's documented. 20th century was the worst century for Christian martyrs of of Christian history, all the previous centuries combined. There were more martyrs in the 20th century than any other time. We think about the early church, they were all being persecuted.
Yeah.
Far greater in the 20th century. Now, around the world, we are by far the most persecuted religion. Absolutely. And it's a crime. It's an outrage. And we talk about, in a kind of demure way, about religious liberty in our country, which is indeed under threat. But you want the real threat to religious liberty, it's in different parts of the world. People are being killed for their Christian faith.
So why is that fact suppressed? That is intentionally suppressed? Again, I was like 45 before I realized the Bolshevik Revolution was aimed at Christians. I don't know why I didn't get that, but I didn't.
Yeah, I have to ask the keepers of the flame culturally, but it's simply the case today. I mean, it's the most persecuted religion.
I don't think you guys realize what's happening right now. AI is actually collapsing. AI is training on its own data. As it trains on more synthetic data that's been generated by AI and not by humans, it starts to show more unsafe results. 24% of the entire internet in 2025 is actually AI generated. This is up from 2 to 3% in 2023. Human data is running out to train AI, and AI is like a snake eating its own tail right now.
We got to get it together, y'all. We got to get it together. If I'm going to be the last voice to keep standing up and saying something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to continue to do it. And if I got to use this internet to do it, then that's what I'm going to use to do it, because that's where everybody at. We've been in our phone for 20 years. All we do is look down at our phones. We've been in our phone for 20 plus years, bro. Looking down. I went to the chiropractor. The chiropractor said that my group of people that I grew up with, when we get 70 years old, we're going to have humpbacks. This is a chiropractor telling me that. He said, because we just keep looking down. If we didn't have a phone, you wouldn't be looking at your hand all day, would you? I don't think you would. But you got something to look at. You need to look at life, man. Look at life. Look at what's going on around y'all, bro. This stuff is getting serious. It's hitting close to home, and other people are starting not to care no more. Let's get it together, y'all. Let's try to get it together, man.
Someone told me. I was watching on YouTube the other day the 99 home run derby. It was 99 or 2000, one of those. I think it was 99 between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa when they had that big battle, y'all. And, they would pan off into the fans and whatnot. It was a trip to see that, like, now everyone would be like this, right? But it was just everybody was watching it, was enjoying it, was cheering, was slapping hands. It was a trip to see, because people that, like, when I go to things like that, I don't pick up my phone. I try not to. I try not to film it, because you're not going to watch it, right? You're not going to watch it. Like, all these people that go to concerts and they film it just so they can post it on social media, so they can say I'm at the concert, when they're never going to watch that again. And if they do, it's terrible footage. You can't hear nothing. You barely see anything. It's just nonsense. But we really have been in our phone for 20 years, y'all. A quick 20 years. A quick 20 years.
Watch this clip. Was that ant that stood up to me?
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. One ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss. They're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this brain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one?
Are you kidding?
Well, how about this?
Wow. They put this in a children's film, huh?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
What's it,
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1.
Tyranny.
And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
Well, that's just what I was getting into in that first clip with that T attack, right? Imagine that being the power that be talking to the presidents, talking to the people in politics, talking to the people in the media. That's the dude that runs it all, right? That's the top dog, you know. And he's telling everybody, we're the peasants, we're the little ants, right? Rewind it and listen to it again, y'all.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
I would show this clip in my class. You let one ant stand up to them, and they might all stand up. You see the power of solidarity, the power of all of us together? Individually, we feel helpless, lonely, often frightened. Together, nothing can stop us. No tyrant can rule us. No dictator can demand from us subservience. Together, we're powerful.
个怂呀，这几个怂呀，又开街坑进去了，我操！
Always those people, huh?
我操！我操！
Why did the government put in the RICO Act? Why did they just indict him on what he did to each and every person with drugs, kidnapping, child molestation, all of this stuff? He loses hands down. They're charging him with the RICO for this reason. The government is just as disgusting as he is. They are turning around. The RICO is meant to take his money and properties and everything. That's what the fuck they're looking at. That's why they put in RICO. RICO does not belong in this case. They developed the RICO for the mafia, Italian people, to go after the Italian people. And it's a corrupt organization. I know what the RICO law stands for. He don't have a corrupt organization. It's him. RICO has a statute like for the mafia. There's a boss, an underboss, a consigliere, captains, maid guys. This whole organization goes out and commits crimes, murder and all kinds of crimes. And it's an organization, and it's very easy for people to understand it. Now, it's a very complicated law. It went out after the Italians and the mafia to Hispanic people. I was in prison with Hispanic people, black people, who got hit with the RICO law, didn't even know what the fuck they were talking about. But it was an easier law for them to win cases, number one, and for them to confiscate the money. So to them, part of that thinking with the RICO is about money. Not just to find you guilty. They want to go after you, find you guilty, and then they want to pound their chest. They want his hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, whatever he has. They want that money. And if they lose this case, they lost it because of their own greed. RICO does not belong in this case as far as I'm concerned. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but like I said, I've been involved in a lot of RICO on both sides of the RICO. So I do know about the RICO. And there's lawyers, talented lawyers, who literally have a hard time figuring this RICO shit out. But mostly it's about money. And it's about a corrupt organization to get everybody in at once. I don't see them getting everybody in. I see them attacking him for the disgusting crimes that he's committed. You don't need a RICO. You just need those crimes. Who would sit on a jury, listen to those crimes, what I just listened to, and what I've been listening to, is going to find him innocent of what? No women, no men. We have kids in too. We have husbands, we have wives, we have daughters, we have granddaughters. What guy is going to find him not guilty? But they made the case harder for their greed with the RICO. I don't think it fits. I'm not a lawyer. I wish that lawyers listen to me and react to me and talk to me and tell me what they think about the case. But I don't see it as a RICO case. And I think that if he has any shot of beating this, it's because they put the RICO in it. People won't understand the RICO. They won't buy it the way they're looking at it, the government. They don't give a shit about his money. They care about his crimes.
So we're in California, and there's 26 Penske vans, all in line alphabetically, with every letter of the alphabet. Can someone tell me what this is about?
You should not be using a bank account. And again, if you guys don't really know money, if I were to give you guys $100 right now, I say hold on to that $100 for 1 year. I don't give a fuck if your bank account says $100, you probably have $94 to $95.
Why? Because it goes down.
Inflation.
Gotcha.
And this is what you need to understand. You will never make, you are always losing money when you save money. You need to take all your money out of the bank account. You need to find a good high yield savings account. There's so many. There's like Fidelity has one, Wealthfront. Currently, you're looking at about a 4%. You want a 4% with low fees.
Now that's true. I mean, if you're at a big bank, not always, but a lot of the times they have those maintenance fees, right? $10. So if you put that 100 and leave it there within 10 months, that 100's gone because of those fees. You got to make sure that you get rid of those fees. Now, there's things you can do like automatic deposit or something like that that'll get rid of the fees, but sometimes it don't. I'm at a credit union. Now, I have a little savings in my credit union because the high yield savings account at Fidelity, which I have where most of my money's at, getting like 3.54%. It takes, a day or two for that money to transfer, especially over the weekend. If you do it Friday, you won't get it till Monday, right? So I make sure I have a little bit in my checking account or my savings account in my bank because, just in case, I got an emergency, I need $500, boom, I can just transfer it over. But yeah, all it takes, like, I know somebody that, not really investing for the future, for the retirement, right? But there's a good lump sum there just sitting in a high yield savings account, right? But I told her, all you got to do is make a 10-minute phone call, change where that money's at, put it in the S&P, and that 20,000, just by that 10-minute phone call, that 25,000, by the time 20, 30 years come, when it's time for you to retire, will be like 120,000. Yeah, it's not that much, but it's better than 20,000. People don't want to do it, y'all. They push it off. I'll do it tomorrow, or I'm busy. I'll do it on the weekend, and it never happens, y'all. You know what I mean? And this knowledge is out there. This knowledge is on a simple 10-minute YouTube video can make you $1 million. A simple 10-minute YouTube video, right? So yeah, high yield savings account. You get at least 4% at a Fidelity, right? FXIAXX. Compared to your bank account at your bank, you're getting 0% negative.
This just went off in Moscow. I can't even begin to tell you guys just how bad this is. Because before this even started going off, we had reports coming out of Russia that their leader was getting their nuclear stuff ready and on high alert because, I don't know, maybe they knew that something was going to happen, something giant. Allow me to explain to you why this is so bad and why this is the closest we have ever been to WW. I have to say it's stupid. By the way, if you're on TikTok and you see this in your For You feed, let me know. That being said, it's because the leader of the United States and the leader of Russia have decided not to work together anymore. And ever since then, it's gotten insane. Both in this place and the other place that, they're fighting. But not just them. Russia's being backed by Iran. Yeah, you like to say Iran. And they are working it out with Pakistan. And they also just met with Egypt. With all the things happening in the Middle East right now, this right here, though not directly but indirectly, might be the final piece until something really bad happens. One thing is for sure, within 24 hours, we'll know a lot more. And the scariest part, about 3 years ago, God gave me a dream. And yeah, I recorded it, I showed y'all. And it showed the escalation and what was going to be the final part. If you don't remember, it had to do with them and the Middle East. But if you saw it, you know.
Microsoft says that it provided AI to Israeli military for war. Microsoft recently acknowledged that it sold advanced AI and cloud computing services to the Israeli military during the war in quotations in Gaza, and aided in efforts to locate and rescue Israeli hostages. If you don't know why I put quotations on that, you might want to dig a little bit deeper into the October 7th attacks. The company has said that it has somehow found no evidence to date that its Azure platform and AI technologies were used to target or harm people in Gaza. I beg to fucking differ. Have you ever heard of Microsoft Israel? Microsoft Israel is one of the 3 strategic centers of Microsoft worldwide. It's one of the company's largest leased international property spaces, by the way. Shit, in November of 2023, Microsoft launched its first cloud data center region in Israel with an estimated investment of hundreds of millions of USD. But hey, who fucking cares, right? Why would Israel need AI to locate hostages, people? Think about that for 1 second, okay? Have you ever heard of strategic warfare? You know, something that doesn't involve innocent women and children losing their lives? Wait, that actually sounds so familiar. See, the ironic part about all this is the fact that so many people like to come to the defense of what they think happened during World War II, but yet they somehow don't want to consider what's happening in Gaza right now to be a genocide. Is that not contradicting to anybody else?
This right here, folks, is what I call a cultural shift. Check this out. Now, what we have here to my left is an image of, well, it's a Target store. For those of y'all who don't know what Target is, it is a American retailer. It is in between Walmart and Whole Foods. It's like just somewhere in the in-between, if you catch what I'm throwing, right? It's not Walmart.
Higher class Walmart.
But it's not Whole Foods, okay? And this to my right is, ironically enough, an image of Target. Now, the reason why this right here is a representation of a culture shift is because both of these images were taken in the month of June, a month that has now come to be known as the month of quote-unquote pride, or more specifically, the alphabet people pride, right? The L's, the G's, the B's, the Q's, the T's, and all of these. This is Pride Month. Now, as you can see, there has been a little bit of a shift that's taken place here. We have gone from these sort of displays to these sort of displays. I'm sure you can do the math on this one.
If you're 36, you're a fucking child. I know you don't believe it because society's got you twisted. 36-year-olds see like Timothy Chalamet, like, well, he fucking made it before he was 36. And I'm like, yes, Timothy made it before he was 36. But there's 8 billion people on Earth. Like, you're still a fucking child. People always want to compare to Zucks or like the Kardashians. Why are we always comparing him to the 0.0000001? Like, I don't understand. Like, you want to be decent at basketball, but you compare yourself to LeBron, so you don't play basketball. So yes, I understand other people made billions in their 20s and 30s. Talent, circumstance, serendipity, that has nothing to do with your life. And more importantly, nobody's success in life is taken from yours. Not one person. This isn't actual sports where there's a winner and loser. This is life. Everyone can lose, everyone can win. And so I'm just trying to get people's fucking feelings right.
Did you know that eating Reese's peanut butter cups is literally the same thing as drinking gasoline?
Can I get $20 unleaded on number 1? Thank you.
I put that in there, y'all, because there's so much things going around. Like, I got a comment the other day saying you're contradicting yourself because on the last video, you know, you were saying, eat more low carb, high fat. And then they're saying, well, those fats are full of GMOs and steroids and all this junk that causes this and that. Like, don't overthink it so much, y'all. Like, there's no escaping that. I mean, they spray stuff in the air so when you go outside, you breathe nonsense, right? There's no escaping it. There's none, right? Just don't do it. Overdo it. Just moderation, right? If you eat a bunch of meat but no carbs, you'll be okay. You don't get that blood work. Blood work's going to come back. Sure, there's going to be people that get the C word, that's the answer, and and all these things, but that happens, y'all. There's just no escaping it. Just don't overthink it. We got a clip coming up, another one with Gary Vee talking about a lady. She's overthinking creating an LLC because she don't know what to name it. Like, people like overthink things. Just do. The difference between people that are making it and people that are not, the difference between people that are rich with investing and the people that are not, is doing it, right? Is doing the video, is investing the money. That's the difference between the people that do and the people that don't. Action, right?
Just recent report. It's not proven, but their surveillance enough suggests 300,000 people have already died from just this cut off, this hard cut of USAID. So there's food rotting in boats, in warehouses. There is this will you off. This will not, you will not be happy. No American will, but there is, I think it's 50,000 tons of food that are stored in Djibouti, South Africa, Dubai, and wait for it, Houston, Texas. And that is rotting rather than going to Gaza, rather than going to Sudan, because the people who know the codes or for the warehouse are fired. They're gone. And so this, I don't know, what do you think? What is that? That's not America, is it?
Well, they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
Right. This is the problem. The problem is, for sure, there have been a lot of organizations that do tremendous good all throughout the world. Also, for sure, it was a money laundering operation. For sure, there was no oversight. For sure, billions of dollars are missing. In fact, trillions that are unaccounted for, that were sent off into various, they don't even know where because there's no receipts. The way Elon Musk described it, he said if any of this was done by a public company, the company would be delisted and the executives would be in prison. But in the United States, this is standard. When Biden left office, when it was clear that Trump won, in the 73 days, they spent $93 billion from the Department of Energy on just radical loans, just throwing money into places.
Right.
And there's no oversight, no receipts. Like the whole thing is, there's a lot of fraud, a lot of money laundering.
I've seen acts of strength from people, children, that are beyond imagination, impossible strength, like a giant was in the room. You know, I worked in a residential treatment center in Colorado, and it was called Devereux Cleo Wallace. And this place had like semi-locked facility, and there was like 6-year-olds all the way up to 18-year-olds for various different issues, adjudicated youth, people that are serving sentences. And then you just had like Asperger's and autism unit, and all mixed together in this insane complex. And this little 6-year-old girl was freaking out, and they put them in quiet rooms. That's what they call it. It's like not a padded room, like a walled linoleum reinforced room with a serious door, you know, a cell. She's in that room, and all these staff are in there restraining her, all men, all like teenage or mostly college age guys. And they all have this little girl. I mean, arms are like this thick, pinning her down. And then she starts screaming in multiple voices in languages, start erupt like Twilight languages, like all this like deep guttural roaring, and lifts all of us off the ground from her back. You can feel the atmosphere in the room shift, like with icy, horrible, cold, dread, anguish, you know. And I started praying out loud in the name of Jesus at the time, like just in Jesus' name, we bind you from affecting this little girl, and we command you to get off of her and be silent and leave her. And it was like,
let me read something to you real quick. It mean a lot to me. Man, I ain't trying to cry, but let me read something. It's been on my phone for 5. Break generational curses. Quit yelling at your kids before they go to bed and expect them to sleep well. Quit yelling at your kids in the morning right after they wake up before school and expect them to have a good day. You set the tone for your children. You set the tone for your voice. They will always remember in their heads. You become their inner voice. Don't be their inner critic. Speak life, speak love, speak bravery, kindness and hope. Speak wisdom and truth. Most of all, listen to your children.
That's deep. I felt that.
Is there any weird
that inner voice part?
Yeah. That you seen?
Yeah.
Never been to a Diddy party or what?
Yeah, I've been to a Diddy party.
You have?
Yeah. Wasn't no diddying around when I was there.
I got you.
A lot of people have been to the parties, but I don't think a lot of people have been to the freak offs, right? Those ones.
Yeah. It's funny though, because people talk about that like, oh man, I feel like anyone, if they got invited, would probably show up. Yeah. Not to necessarily, we're saying the freak off, but like to a party.
Right. Yeah.
And then where it goes from there is like.
Yeah, but you can't do a freak off at a general party. You'll get shut down. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just be like, yo, come to this freak off.
Yeah. I wonder if that's what people think it is.
Look, here's a picture.
What were you talking about in this moment?
He was asking me to do something for... No, he's asking me to do something for Revolt TV.
Got it.
And at the time, I just started this company called Zeus. I was telling him it's a conflict of interest because I just started my company called Zeus. And look at his face. He's like, you can't...
Yeah.
That's a don't tell me no face.
Two people that have been to the parties, two people that are in those circles, talking about nothing happens at those parties. That's crazy.
You guys hear about this? A group of 3 millennials bought an old high school for $100,000 and turned it into a 31-unit apartment. Apparently, the property was listed at $225, and they got it under contract for $175. But after inspection, they got it for $100,000. Now, what's amazing is that they bought this property in 2019 when interest rates were at low. And one of the things I love about what they did was they actually kept the original concept of a high school in their layout. So above you can see the auditorium, the before picture, and then on the right you can see the after. From what I've seen in the videos that they've posted in the articles that have come out, they kept a lot of the original flooring and even bookshelves and things like that. This is the original basketball court that was in the high school, and the tenants that rent out the apartments can actually come here and play basketball anytime they want. So here are a couple photos of some of the apartments that you can rent. Obviously, they didn't cut any corners with this. It looks amazing. I'm interested, so comment below if you would ever consider living in an old high school.
I'm struggling creating my LLC.
What do you mean you're struggling to create your LLC?
I'm overthinking names and trying to figure out...
Names don't mean shit. Hold on. You're struggling to come up with a name?
Yeah.
Do you know what my personal LLC is?
I know you've got Gary V, VaynerMedia.
No. You know what the world knows it as. But the registered LLC is attention at scale. Means nothing.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
Green.
And what's your first name again?
Rhonda.
I literally want you to register Green Rhonda Austin LLC. That is the name of your LLC. Go spend $267 or whatever the it is, register your LLC. Here's why. What you sell in front of that LLC can be a totally different brand name. I don't need you to overthink your LLC. That's silly. Do you understand?
Yeah, perfectly.
So like, see how I say a lot of people overthink things and make it a lot more difficult than it's got to be, because your LLC doesn't matter what you name it, right? It's what you do business as. You do business as something different. You don't do business as your LLC. Like, I have an LLC because I was going to get going with the valet trash, and I always heard I was going to use my last name because I wanted my last name to carry on, like Segovia Reacts here. And they said, don't put your last name as LLC unless you're like a lawyer or a doctor's office. So I had Victory Mind LLC because my name's definition, Segovia, the definition of Segovia is victory. So Victory Mind, Segovia Mind LLC, and then I was going to do business as Victory Waste, right? As my valet trash business. So just don't overthink things, y'all. Just do, right? And if you're having trouble coming up with a name for your LLC, just watch a YouTube video. I get a lot of people ask me questions like, how do you get started? How do you do this? How do you do that? I'm no genius, y'all. You know how I learned all this stuff? How I learned how to get a good camera, good lighting in the back, good computer, good whatever, by watching YouTube videos. My lighting wasn't good. Let's watch a YouTube video on lighting. Boom, got this. I had my old webcam, which was an Elgato, right? Before that, I had a Logitech 1080p, right? I just watched videos. Okay, what's the best webcam? An Elgato. Okay, I had that for about a year. Okay, let's upgrade. What's the best camera? The Sony, right? Now I got a camera right here. Just getting all, there's so much knowledge on YouTube, y'all. That's where you start, right? I'll answer your questions like about my microphone, the Shure MV7 Plus. I had somebody ask me, what microphone do you use? These videos are on YouTube, y'all. Best microphones for, yeah, sure, the best is the SM7B, which costs $500. I'm not ready for that yet. Got the MV7, which costs like $300, right? So there's a lot of knowledge on YouTube, y'all. Anything you want to get started in, you can learn it right there.
Was posted onto Truth Social saying that Joe Biden has been gone since 2020. Yes, like the Joe Biden you've been seeing for the last 4 years is not the real Joe Biden. He is saying that Joe Biden has not been alive, that this is a clone of Joe Biden. And do y'all remember that we speculated that it was not Joe Biden his whole entire presidential run? Remember that we saw 4 different Joe Bidens.
Oh, look at that bottom right.
All these different Joe Bidens. Like, it's all making sense. Now, I know a lot of you are like, oh, that's just a conspiracy. He just got old. These 4 people, they look similar, but they look like different people. And y'all remember like the height differences between each Joe Biden? There were different heights. They were all different heights. Do y'all remember that? We were all saying like, okay, that can't be the... Remember, there was a full-on topic on how that it was not the real Joe Biden. Then all of a sudden, Trump posts to his account that he's been executed in 2020. And you know what vibes this give me? When people used to say that this wasn't the real her, that she was gone a long, long, long time ago. That's the vibes it give me. And so is this possible? Absolutely. Or is he just trolling? I mean, he could be trolling, but at the end of the day, he knows way more than we know, for sure.
And the hotel people saying it wasn't always Cassie. It was other people. They said it wasn't always Cassie. It was different people. And they also said it wasn't always Diddy under that bad boy company that was doing the freak offs. And you had to go through his personal assistant. See, that's where the racketeering and the enterprise, he was setting up freak offs for other people too. And he was using bad boy, bringing prostitutes in, using bad boy entertainment, label, and all that for the freak offs. So we got that information out the court thing too. If he have any sense, he'll go to the prosecution with his defense team, and he'll tell them, yo, can I still get that 5 years? Can I still get that 5 years? But now he's at the point where is that if they prove this racketeering, they could take all his assets. And I think that's what they're shooting for now. Because everything else basically is going to be proven or it has been proven.
I only go to the gym 3 times a week. I walk. I eat mostly whole foods, but I will have a cheeseburger or a cocktail, God forbid. And I'm in this shape.
Yeah.
And people were like, no way, he's full of shit.
Bullshit.
Yeah, you have to be in the gym 5 days a week. And I started to realize there was this narrative. People don't get in shape because they think you got to be like a bodybuilder. You got to eat chicken and rice. You got to live in the gym. It's got to be a job. But I love my life. And I think that fitness should only add value to your existence, not detract.
Absolutely.
Beef steaks are from the store. And these are from a local farm. See the difference?
Okay, we are cooked. Yep, we are absolutely cooked, chat. GG.
I don't know anything about it. I know nothing about it. You're saying that they had what? I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time.
Processed steak fish. Like, first of all, look like this.
Regular fish.
Regular fish. It doesn't really look normal to me though, because I don't know. This doesn't look like fish to me. But look. Look at the I press texture. My finger makes an indent like a sponge, and then I did this. Squeeze.
The
Like Smokey the Bear.
This man disappeared and cannot find by family and friends after recorded the moon with his telescope and captured this. Watch this.
Hey, how crazy would that be if he had a microscope and saw that? It will freak you the hell out. Like, wait, what the heck is this? Saw cranes and bulldozers on there and
before YouTube. This man showed us funny videos.
He really did.
Bob Saget on America's Funniest Home Videos was
Old
our
school.
YouTube, y'all.
It was.
It was the YouTube before YouTube, especially early YouTube.
You consumed more videos from them than you did anything at the time.
When I heard that theme song from the other room,
Oh my God.
you hear that America's Funniest Home Videos from the other room? Oh man, it was just food to the soul. It's so R.I.P. Bob Saget.
For sure. You know what I liked about him though? Was finding out how dirty he was as a comedian after,
Oh my God.
way after the fact. When I was a kid.
Oh, me too.
He was the most wholesome guy I've ever seen.
And like when he was on
Full
House, and
he
then
was like
catching
the
him.
family man. And then when I was older, I was like,
Because
he's
a
over
lot of
doing
people knew.
vulgar, like crazy jokes. And you're like, holy shit! Isn't this the dad on Full House?
Yeah, it was a shocking moment the first time
So
you
good,
heard
bro.
Bob Saget tell a dick joke. Oh,
Shit.
wait a fucking minute.
Welcome to America's Funniest Home Videos, the show that doesn't answer any questions, doesn't cause governments to topple that we know of, and doesn't contain any fluorocarbons. All we are is funny.
What the fuck is going on? So y'all know Kenneth Copeland, that preacher that has private jets and people think that he's like possessed and stuff? There's only maybe like 2 or 3 videos about this, but apparently he just got sentenced to life in prison. Can anyone find out if that's true or not? Because this is blowing my mind. Kenneth Copeland sentenced to life in prison.
Have you seen this? I learned a fact the other day that blew my mind. Do you know how most whales die? They drowned. They spend their entire life living in and swimming in a world that eventually kills them. You know why that is? Whales are mammals. Most mammals walk on the face of the earth, but the whales live in a world that they are not of. They are in the water, but they are not of the water. So while other fish can swim around for their entire life with gills breathing in the water, the whale has to come up out of the water to live. There's a life source that is not in the world that he lives in, that he needs access to. This is gonna go over some of y'all heads, but I'm gonna just say it and be obedient to what God is telling me to say. You are in this world, but you are not of this world. In this life, you need God. There's no other way around it. You need God. You need to pray. You need to worship. You need to seek his face. You need to read your word, because in this life, if you don't learn how to come up for air, you will drown. Subscribe for more content like this.
Can we please talk about the amount of time that I have spent at charging stations to charge a vehicle that's not even mine? I do not understand the point of electric vehicles, and I'm like honestly having a really hard time with this, because yesterday when I was in Wichita, Kansas, I had to drive 20 miles out of my way to find a charging station that I then sat at for 30 minutes and paid $50 to get 222 miles of electric charge. Okay, my BMW that takes premium fuel, I can fill that up for $68 and I can drive almost 500 miles. What a dream. What a dream. I thought this was supposed to save money, and I didn't choose to drive this vehicle, so it's not even really about saving money or the environment for me. I don't understand. Like, I really am having a hard time. What's the point? What is the point of this? I feel like between the loss of time sitting at a charging station and the money that you're actually spending for the electricity, like, what is the point exactly? Can someone help me understand?
There's a man underneath his car. That's my car. That's someone's car. And he is crawled up under there. And he's just watching me. See him moving on his belly?
One of my favorite stories is in a mother's womb were 2 babies, and one turns to the other and says, "Do you believe in life after delivery?" And the other replies, "Why, of course, there has to be something after delivery. Maybe we're here to prepare ourselves for what will be later." Nonsense, said the first. There's no life after delivery. What kind of life would that be? I don't know, said the second, but there'll be more light than here. Maybe we'll walk with our legs and eat with our mouths. Maybe we'll have other senses we can't understand now. First goes, that's ridiculous. Walking is impossible, and eating with our mouths, that's absurd. The umbilical cord is what scientifically supplies nutrition and all that we need, but it's far too short. Life after delivery is to be logically excluded. And the second says, what if it's just different than it is here? Maybe we don't need that physical cord anymore. The first goes, okay, if there were life after delivery, then tell me, why has no one ever come back from there? Delivery is the end of life, and in the after delivery is nothing but darkness and silence and oblivion. It takes us nowhere. And the second says, but certainly we'll meet Mother, and she'll take care of us. The first goes, Mother? You actually believe in Mother? If Mother exists, where is she now? And the second goes, she's all around us. We are of her. It is in her that we live. Without her, this world would not and could not exist. And the first says, I don't see her. It's only logical that she's not here. To which the second replied, sometimes, when you're in silence and you really listen, you can perceive her presence. You can hear her loving voice calling down from above.
You want to feel from the other side of it. Look at that.
Gravedigger, Part 3. I'm finally free to say a little bit more because charges have been filed. I knew that day that the casket was empty, and I want to clarify something. I was not digging up a casket. That was a fresh burial. The person had been dead for 2 days. That's it. No longer. So no, the body didn't decay. Nothing like that happened. We was putting the casket on, and it's got to set straight. Like, you got to put it on there, and, you know, to lower it in the hole, of course, you know, it's got to be on top of there. Well, it had come up, and it had popped up in the corner a little bit. So I went over there, and the director told me, he's like, hey, we got to get this back on here, you know, we got to get it straight. So I'm like, cool, you know, we do it all the time, but usually it's pretty hard. Sometimes it takes a couple of us, but usually more. You know, depending on how big the person is, how heavy everything is. So we went over there and we went to put it on, and when we did, my side popped up all the way. Like, pretty much to the point to where I knew it was empty. I questioned him, and he told me, you know, to not ask questions that I wasn't ready for the answer for. Then, after talking to one of my fellow gravediggers, Scott, he told me the truth. He said, man, he said, I'm going to tell you something. And he said, this don't go no further than me and you. He's like, they're not burying a lot of people because the meat has other destinations.
Shots fired.
Now, that night I got a call.
Probably off.
After I made the video, and I was told to take the video down because it was causing disruption. You know, people had been talking to my boss, and his daughter had actually seen it on TikTok also. Therefore, I didn't take the video down. So my fate was sealed. I was terminated, which I had no problem with. A couple days after that, me and a person talked on here, and he said, you know, I think that you should take this time to kind of expose the funeral industry because you already have in a way. So now that's kind of my goal. That's where I'm at. This wasn't the first time that happened. There's also some shady stuff going on to where I noticed that they was telling us not to bury nobody while there was any type of family there. They're like, don't let them see you bury anybody. We don't want people spectating. You know, and that could be for all kind of purposes, but that's what was happening. Also, like in the funeral homes, I was noticing like that the people that own them like had a lot of money. Like, and I mean, you know, I know they make a lot of money, but like it was unreal. Like they had new Corvettes, and one of the funeral homes, they don't even hardly bury very many people. It's in a small town. They have like maybe 2 or 3 funerals a week. And like their son is like 17 and he has a 2025 Corvette. They have like a huge house. They own like a vacation home in Florida. And like things just wasn't adding up. So I started getting suspicious. So instead of just quitting the job in the first place, like I was going to do when I first started it, I started to kind of infiltrate them. And I started paying attention to what they was doing. And this wasn't the first time that I handled an empty casket. And I also heard so much things that I'm going to tell you in the future on lives, but I can't tell you in videos. But I'm letting you know that they're not doing right with the bodies. They're not burying a lot of them. There's a lot of organ trafficking. They're targeting immigrants, inmates, people with no families. And they're literally selling them. And it's not just one funeral home. It's thousands. And the more I look into this, the worse it gets. I pray you're still with me. We got a long road ahead of us. But I wanted to make a part 3 and kind of let you know where I was at and clarify some things. I hope you listen. God bless you all, and thank you for supporting me through this journey.
Who do you think are the biggest gimmicks?
I believe Dr. Umar's a gimmick.
Why?
Every time something happens, he somehow streamlines it to a black-white thing.
Yeah.
And I don't like that because it makes my people look like we're always looking for an excuse. No, to me, I think he's playing on the minds of those people who are caught up in that.
Yeah, in the like the race division.
Yeah, if it's a football field and every 10 yards, it's a different ethnic group of baby in those 10 yards. I'm going to tippy-toe goal line to goal line the same way. I'm not going to get to a certain ethnic group of children and start running as if I don't care, right? And I tell a lot of these people, hey, look, bro, this is the only thing I don't like.
I'm going to go on one safari to Africa in my lifetime.
Yep.
Where should I go?
Monopools, Zimbabwe. There's nowhere better. It's the most hidden gem. You want to have the most organic African safari experience you can have. Monopools National Park is a national park on the Zambezi River. It's totally wild. It's packed with game. It's got the only elephants in the world that will stand on their hind legs to take fruit off the trees. You can do a canoe safari where you're right up with hippos, crocs, ellies, everything. You're in a private camp. It's not expensive, with a guide who knows wildlife who you can walk with. You're going to see an insane amount of game. You're not going to see other tourists, and you can do foot safaris. It's one of the last places in Africa. You can go with a guide who knows what they're doing. They've got a big rifle on their shoulder and walk through the bush.
Did y'all see what happened in Switzerland? A whole freaking town just wiped off the map in a few minutes. I'll show you what happened in a second, but this right here is before and after. I mean, it really makes you think about just how quickly we could just erase everything in the world right now. And of course, I'm referencing all the stuff that's been hidden under layers of dirt around the entire Earth. I mean, just watch how quickly everything can be wiped out. Like, this is real time. It's almost scary how fast it can happen, especially with all the earthquakes and all the crazy things happening on the Earth right now. I remember I showed you this recently of this giant flood of mud coming, right? Again, wondering how things could be completely buried. And just because we've been without crazy, chaotic events here in the United States, of course, besides people's brains going insane, more on that later again, all over the world is just flooding, hail, just nonstop chaos everywhere. I mean, look how deep that water is. I don't know why though, this really just reminds me of Yellowstone. Like Yellowstone, all those urgent warnings we've been getting about Yellowstone, who knows?
The term Africa is not the name of the original continent. It is not. It's called Alkebulan. It means, it's a Coptic word meaning the Garden of Eden. So Alkebulan was changed by a 5-star Roman general by the name of Leo Scipio Africanus, who during the Second Punic War in 202 BC defeated Hannibal in Carthage, which is present-day Libya and Tanzania, and changed the name of the continent from Alkebulan, which is actually a Coptic term meaning the Garden of Eden, to Africanus, which is Africa today. And later on in history, there was a second man by the name of Leo or Louis Africanus, whose real name was Abin Muhammad Hassan, who was born in Granada, Spain in 1494, whose family was amongst the first slave traders who occupied all of Western, not just Western Spain, but all of what we call Africa today. They were slave traders. So anytime a Roman Empire family or even an Arabic Empire family would conquer a land, many times they would change the name of that land from its original name, like Alkebulan.
Good right there. Yeah, he was our best. Time flies, y'all. Forget how cringy it was. Remember that debate?
When this second sun hit,
I felt bad for him.
You're gonna see completely different beings. Remember I was talking to you guys about the dragons, the air dragons, and some people was like, air dragons, what the hell is he talking about? Is he high? No, all of our birds were dragons, the same ones that they show you on the movies. But remember, when the planet fell in frequency, our dragons fell in frequency, and they now fly in our sky as falcons and eagles and birds. Facts. Alright? But we have been rising back in frequency. This is what this planetary shift is about, people. We are rising back in frequency, so everything will be coming back into its original form, its natural state. Alright? This is why you are about to start seeing a lot of these beings, these magical beings, these gnomes and elves and fairies and all the trolls and all this shit that you thought was just a fairy tale that they made up in a book. How? Human beings are soulless beings, so they lack creativity. They lack creativity. I repeat, a human being ain't never made nothing. Ain't never wrote nothing down that he ain't see do already before he existed. We are gods. We existed before time. We witnessed the rays of the sun being constructed. Y'all don't remember that? Yes, you do. Because remember, I'm you, me. We are all one. You don't remember that we set back the gods. We not worried about the ages who don't remember. Let them not remember. I'm talking to the gods and the goddesses because they will never forget. Your powers was taken from you. You were lied to. You were enslaved. And taught that you were nothing more than a human being that existed in Africa.
Now it's gone. So I'm in front of the most controversial statues here at the Hoover Dam. Let me show you. So what everybody needs to know is that the floor had an entire compass of the Illuminati, the Masons. So now it's gone. That's right, because these are not normal angels. So right now, under there, it's gone. Okay, out-of-body explorers, I'll show you my next video on the Hoover Dam.
Science proves that human beings only see 4% what's in front of them. Damn. What happens when we can see 10% what's in front of them? Would we be in fear? This is the same reason why if you take your Tesla down to the local cemetery and you sit there with your barometric camera on you're going to see human beings walking around on that
Still
camera
don't know
that
if
you
that's true.
can't see with your own visual perception. Why is that? What is that about? Why do scientists come out and say that the afterlife takes a place in another dimension?
Which I think for sure.
Why is that? I've seen people dying. I looked at people's faces when they was checking out. They looking past me. They looking past you. Whatever they looking at is not what we thinking.
It's like that thing that happened in the Vietnam War where they had that special dye on their glasses and
Exactly.
they're seeing monsters that was there and then they take them off and they're not there.
Really? I didn't know about that. That's crazy.
It's a certain dye
Red.
that they actually banned in America.
Oh, was that Agent Orange or was that something else?
No, it's something
There was
else.
a dye that they used to color the lenses on night vision goggles.
Yeah, the red.
They went from a red spectrum to
green.
the current spectrum that we on now, which is green, grays, and white. When they was using the red spectrum, soldiers complained that they seen monsters.
The conspiracy is that Twitch was because Ellen was retiring her show.
Yes.
And he left the show a little bit before. And he made his debut that he was leaving, whatever. The conspiracy is that he was going to expose certain things that she was involved in, or maybe people around like Diddy or whoever was involved in. And so they basically killed him.
I literally do not understand how people don't realize it, but airlines are tricking you every day. You ever notice how when you buy your tickets early, they're way cheaper? When you buy them too late, there goes a paycheck. It's because if the plane is empty, they obviously need passengers. So they sell tickets cheaper, but the opposite is true as well. And you should be doing the same thing. When your business is slow, you can run a promotion for 10% off only for a limited time. And when you're busy, you can stop giving out discounts or even charge more for peak season.
I don't know much about witchcraft.
You don't want to.
What is it?
There are black witches and white witches, that there are witches that do good. Witchcraft is still witchcraft. It's the use of the elements, and there's alchemy, there's wizardry, sorcery, electricity, magic, use of blood, use of spit, use of sperm. I did it 2 times. Both of them worked, and then I went,
Are you serious?
This is bigger than I am. That really fucked my life up, and it took years for us to get out of it.
What were your hexes?
One was something that had to do with the guy that actually punched me. What happened was, we went to school that day. The guy walked up to me and just slugged me. The second bus shows up and we get in the bus and we take off. He's coming up to his house and he walks through the walkway in the bus and elbows me in the back of the head as he's getting out. And I was trying to fit in, so I had a mouthful of Red Man. And when he hit me, I went, ooh, and I swallowed that shit. That's it. I'm going to do something about this. So I looked through the book and I found something that would do what I wanted. I did that hex.
What did you want to happen?
I really don't want to get into it because I don't want anybody to be misled and try and figure out what I did. When you open up the doors to the dark, they're not going to wait to be invited in. They're coming.
Do you think you were possessed?
Oh, I know it was. When we went to San Francisco to go see the Filipino priest, he said that he laid hands on me and the head of a bull came out of my chest.
My buddy just sent me this video right here. All I can say is
Madonna,
goosebumps
baby.
on top of goosebumps.
I
Go
miss
watch this,
my
man.
Sedona.
This is gonna get this place shut down.
Okay, so this whole thing had kind of been confusing at parts. A minute ago, I saw her take a video of a rock that was chipping, and it shouldn't chip like that. And then my Shakira was over here, and she's beating on this stuff, and we realized that this chip's like a plaster, and it's like a hollow sound compared to the real rock. Look, there's a perfect scene. I mean, perfect scene. That goes all the way up. It's a place to get a plaster over. And that probably was like painted over by giants or some shit.
Okay, so almighty powerful ones, all I ask is when y'all shut this place down for research purposes, just let me and Nick and them come back and check it out. You know what I'm saying? We just want to see the inside. That's all I'm asking. Then I can post it and y'all can all see it.
Photo of him at Disney. He's sitting down at the table. Piglet's behind him. It's him and another guy sitting down, and this guy's holding this girl, like, by her arms like this. That same girl is in another photo with Epstein. They're on the plane. She's like she's sleeping. She's laying down, and he's holding her like this. Then, come to find out, Disney sent kids to his island for snorkeling trips for like 9 years. Snorkeling. And their cruise ships made stops at his island all the time.
Have you seen that video of the Men in Black that walk into this? It's just 2 very tall, weird dudes that walk into like hotel and then leave. Jamie, you can find it easily. And it's just these guys who were supposedly like, you know, something weird happened, and supposedly they're guys that come in like after something weird happens and like shut it down. And they're both very tall and and I don't know if it's fake or not. I don't think it is fake though, but I don't know. It could be fake.
That's disgusting, y'all.
You believe lotion's a scam.
Lotion's a huge scam. It's like 1% lotion, 2% lotion, and then just tons of ingredients, chemicals, and stuff that I think is intentionally designed for that. It's like one business gives access to another business, and it's kind of like everybody grabs your money. So it's kind of like the dentist, the makeup industry. There's a correlation between the makeup industry and the sunglass industry and the sun, and it being bad for you. Be careful. Lotions are botted, perfumes, colognes are botted, fragrances are botted, like sunscreen is botted. Sometimes I don't know if I should stop and tell people like, bro, you shouldn't be wearing sunscreen. Like that sunscreen is bad for you, or just to let them be.
Kind of like wholesaling, right? In real estate, like you're the middleman. You buy the crappy house, you do the math, you buy it for that price, and the investor that's going to come gut it pays you, and you get your money, right? It's kind of like that with these businesses. Like lotion's bad, but they're probably connected with, I don't know, acne type medicines, right? Face wash, things like that, eczema stuff, and they're connected to so and so, and it just everyone helps each other out. There's different levels, you know what I mean? That's a good way to put it.
Tell anybody. A lot of people ask me, Diddy, how do you come up with so many incredible ultra premium flavors for Ciroc? And I simply tell them, I just pay attention to my lifestyle, what's really going on. So I was thinking, since I love vanilla ice cream, and also French Montana is one of my bad boy artists that has like one of the #1 records in the world, why don't I come out with French vanilla? It's that black excellence, baby. I figure I could put it in my vanilla ice cream if I want. I could mix it with a little bit of, I don't know about you guys, but I have to have my dirty chai latte. But you know what I do to make it an extra special day? I put in that French vanilla. Shh, don't tell anybody. French vanilla, welcome to the family. You know I never let y'all down, so let's turn up.
So they fired me, and as a reward for you guys, because I have no loyalty to this institution, I want you guys to utilize this Chrome extension. It's called QuizMate. All you do is copy, paste, drag, drop your questions.
Just gave the game.
And explain how and why. All right? Congratulations on passing everything forever.
Bro, those are peak Subway. Like, that does not exist anymore.
Good old days,
I can smell that picture.
Me too. That dude in there is making you a fire sandwich.
Banger.
They was working hard in that Subway. That wallpaper.
Yes, that wallpaper.
That made me feel something.
I swear I can smell the picture.
Yeah, when I went in a Subway like that, bro, it was an experience for me.
That's back when I liked Subway.
I don't know anyone that didn't like it back then.
Man, those good old days, early release in middle school. The whole damn school was going to Subway to get a meatball marinara. Man, those days, y'all, those days will never happen again for us. And unfortunately for our kids, they'll never get to experience Subway like that, or just these types of restaurants, that fast food places, you know, going to McDonald's, going to the movies with your friends on a Friday night. And man, just the good old days, y'all. But anyways, there you have today's reaction. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you made it this far, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. The baby let me get the video done, y'all. I see movement in the camera, so I gotta hurry up, make this quick. I think he's gonna let me edit, take a shower, start my day with the baby, y'all. But I hope everyone out there has a good day. I hope you enjoyed today's reaction. Hope you're enjoying this background, this camera, I'm figuring it out, y'all. I told you guys it's gonna take me some time to figure out the camera, but I think I got it now. So I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow on the next one, y'all. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the man cave. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Later.